Good afternoon. Welcome to your favorite current affairs program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. My name is Egusa Agbola, your anchor on the show. Today's program will not be looking at political issues this time around, but we'll be looking at something that has given cause for concern. Most Nigerians are perturbed because of the craze for wealth, especially by the youths, allegedly by ritual means. That is the disturbing trend that has generated today's topic. Well, if we have time, we'll also look at another issue that has to do with alleged corruption linked to a former governor of Abia State. We'll be looking at that as well. To join me do justice to today's program, I have with me a very highly talented legal practitioner in the Edo State, and of course, a law lecturer, Eboigbe Edugo. Nice to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. We also have with us the Secretary, Christian Association of Nigeria, Edo State Chapter, Sir Best Iriabe. Nice to have you on the show.
It's a pleasure being here with you.
Okay, so like I said, the premise is said, we're looking at craze for wealth through alleged ritual means. Something happened recently. A young man was caught. We understand that he killed his mother for ritual means. And that story became authentic because Edo State Police Command paraded him and allowed journalists to interview him, where the young man confessed to the crime, that he killed his mother on the instruction of whoever told him to use the body of the dead mother, have carnal knowledge of the dead body, and then get money out of that ritual means. Let me not do the talking. Let's hear him.
What do you bring your car here?
Because I killed my mother.
You kill your mother?
Yes.
When?
I want to use it for ritual.
Which day you kill your mother?
On the 10th of last month.
How you take kill her?
With hand. I struggled with hand. He was sleeping when I pressed her neck.
After you don't kill your mother, you sleep with her?
Yes.
And so the ritual is saying you take
Yes.
For how many days?
He not tell me days, but he tell me ma keep a dead body for 2 days.
What?
Yes.
The suspect there confessed to the crime, and these actually trigger the discussion. And so many people have been disturbed because of this craze for wealth. And amongst the youths, that's the disturbing trend. Well, we'll start with the Secretary, Christian Association of Nigeria, Sir Best Iriabe. By virtue of your age, you have seen a lot in this country. In the 60s, in the 70s, was this trend, craze for wealth, this way?
Of course not. You know, there's a complete breakdown of law and order. The value system that we used to cherish has completely broken down. You know, if you, there's this parable in Benin that Osea Surya will, no matter how poor you think you are, you'll be content with what you have. You don't want to soil your hands, let alone bring down the cherished name that your family has earned for itself over time. And your family will tell you, my son, my daughter, please watch your steps. Make sure you do not put your hands where you ought not to be. Be content with what you have. Make do with what's available to you. Do not steal. You are going to the town now. That used to be the advice. But it's no longer there. What we are hearing today is what the scripture refers to as abomination of desolation, that the Gospel of Matthew talked about. That there are certain things that you don't want to mention it. You will have to go and stay in the rooftop. You don't want to hear about it. While we are throwing light on this very, very sorry phenomenon the sorry state of affairs we have found ourselves in our nation or in our national life, one will not fail to cite these scriptures which I have cited here a number of times because it's very key to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Everybody want to have money. People want to be rich overnight. To the extent that what you have today is what we call nouveau rich. And once you come with such wealth, people do not ask questions as to where you got the money. You become a celebrity overnight. The society around you, they don't help matters. You become the chairman. Oh, Chemo, you are the, even in the church where we hold sway. Money has crept into the place and destroyed the mode of worship. To the extent that money has even polarized the church. To the extent that there's now a great disparity in the observance of Christian ethics and ethos. Money. You know, so that scripture that Apostle Paul wrote to Timothy, the young bishop of his time, by extension, is very, very valid today. He said, what did you bring to this world that you want to take away? You brought nothing, certainly not. You didn't bring anything. He said that, therefore, if a man has a place to stay, you have some railings, you have food to eat on a daily basis, you should be content with that. But many people love to be rich. Just what we are seeing, we saw it just now. Yeah. That young man wants to be rich, and therefore has put his hand into a very harmful desire to kill your mother, to earn money, and not only killing your mother, you had carnal marriage with the corpse. That's an abomination of desolation. It's something we shouldn't talk about at all. Therefore, you put your hands into all sorts of harmful desire and pierce your heart with a number of fatal wounds. And then Apostle Paul concluded, therefore, the love of money is the root for evil. That's what we find ourselves, the love of money. Those days, we don't talk about money. You don't talk about money. You don't even talk about eating to full stomach.
What do you talk about those days?
You talk about the value system.
Good name?
The good name of the family. That's what you talk about. They ask you, who is this? Who's your father? You say, oh, no wonder. No wonder that's the son of this person. Oh, no wonder, wonderful. And then we have various, in Benin, for instance, we have various family lineages. Oh, you are from Osho, the family. Oh, wonderful. You are from this. You are known by that lineage. You are known by the moral rearmament, the moral rectitude that is inherent in society that you have in various families. But that one has completely broken down because of this money. And the French people will say, Dieu donne mort et l'argent. That is not correct, that the God of this world is money. That's what these children are talking about. So it's a very sorry, we are now in a sorry state. Jesus said that on the last day, the love of man will wax cold. That is, we are seeing that just now. That somebody will take the life of the mother for the sake of money. It is unheard of. It is unheard of. People are no longer listening to sermons. The churches are speaking. Even ordinary, the African traditional society talk about moral values. I grew up in Benin City. I can still say it. Wares are displayed along the road. Yeah. Coconut, mango fruit and everything. You go there, some coins are already there.
Yes.
You take one and drop the coin. The owner of the well will come later in the evening to count the money and take the other order inside. Then we found that here. But where are we going from here?
Today, if you dare that, they carry the goods and the money.
They will carry the plate and everything, even the human being that is around them. So that is where we have found ourselves. It's a very sorry state. And I believe that if I want to thank ITV for bringing this discussion. People are listening to us. It's not lost yet. We can continue to talk about it right from the kindergarten. I tell our children, please, this is the right way to live. Watch your steps. Money is not everything. Look at your family name. Good name is better than riches. We still need to tell our people today. Okay. But today, even what is happening is that even those who are supposed to be the custodians of moral rectitude have themselves been eaten up. They are no longer interested. So we don't have those people again. So we are going to talk about the school curriculum.
Okay.
What are the things that are being taught?
We'll come to all that, Sir Besri. But thank you very much for taking us down memory lane, the kind of moral values that was upheld by different families, especially in Benin City, and what is happening now. Well, before we take the legal aspect of this this discussion, let's also take the thought of Barrister Edogogo on this issue.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
This topic is long overdue, considering the prevalent occurrence of issues of ritual killing and the predominance of ill-gotten wealth, celebration of ill-gotten wealth in our society. The truth is that our value system has been totally destroyed. That is the foundation of the problem. All our society, all our societal values is just on getting money. However you get the money is irrelevant, and no society can survive on that kind of moral value. It will only lead to a very brutish society where life is short and insecure, and we are experiencing it seriously in Nigeria. There is so much insecurity. This prevalence of money rituals, ill-gotten wealth, society will just celebrate money. We don't care about the reasonable or rational justification for the person possessing that money. We are just interested in getting money. You see a young boy driving a car of over 4 million and we are celebrating the person. Where are we going to in our society? Life is now extremely insecure. Children are not safe. They capture children anyhow for money rituals. Adults are not safe. The issue on ground is this young boy used his money. His mother killed her for making money. Others have used other people that they are not related to. I was in a public transport today and they were debating this issue and they said, this boy did not try. He should not have used his mother. He should have used someone else. And these were young men talking. I just kept quiet. I was weeping eternally. Our society value system is totally destroyed. We need serious help. Society cannot thrive like this, whereby we place so much value on money and no value at all on morality. It's the issue of morality that differentiates a human being from an animal, that we act based on conscience. Once we remove that conscience from the human being, we are not better than the animal in the bush. We are reducing this society to living in the jungle, survival of the fittest. The person that is going to kill another person for money ritual, do you think you have a monopoly for killing others for money ritual? Why did they not kill you and use you for money ritual? You are celebrating the money. You know what the real problem is? Greed. It's not hunger. It's not unemployment. If we want to fix fast, it's extreme greed. And unfortunately, our society will just celebrate money. Once he has money, even if you are 20 years older than you, start to greet him, good afternoon, sir, good afternoon, ma. So that at the end, he does have some money to you. This must seriously change, because really no sane society can thrive in this kind of system. And I want to condemn it entirely. We should learn to be contented. We should not, first of all, what are you buying a car for? A car is basically a means of mobility. Whether you are driving 30 car of 500,000, you are driving a car of 10 million, is essentially one function, a means of mobility. We should learn to appreciate basic things. That's why the white man, they will always be better than us. The white man just needs a car for functionality purpose, but here you are buying a car for the status of for status purpose. You go and build a house of 50 bedrooms, where basically you just need a house for the purpose of shelter. So when your value system is eroded, is destroyed, you go to any length to actualize these evil desires, and at the end of the day, at the cost of others in society. Let's realize that being wicked, doing money rituals, is not the monopoly of anybody. Everybody can do it, and if we all do it, at the end, everybody will end up dying. So we need to put a check to this unwholesome desire for money. And then our security agencies should really clamp down on this. When you see young people driving cars that ordinarily they have no justifiable means to justify owning that car, they should be apprehended. Let's start from there.
I was just coming to that. That's why I said the legal means. Maybe we'll just allow you comment on that. Now, some persons do not have the means of what they have acquired. Is there a legal framework, or is it in our constitution, or do the law enforcement agents really have the powers to actually check and profile people and say, okay, you're driving this vehicle worth 5 million. What job do you do? How much is your salary? Is there anything like that in the legal framework of this country?
At present, our laws in this area is very porous, and it's a major problem. It's very porous. We don't have adequate legal and regulatory framework to check this unjustifiable show or display of wealth, and that is where the problem is. I want to compare Nigeria with advanced countries. Let me look at the country like Canada. There is what they call equitable distribution of wealth, so that nobody gets too rich, nobody becomes too poor, nobody becomes poor. First of all, everybody is able to live reasonably. If you are making too much money, the government has a way of measuring it and collecting the excess from you and giving it to others. Sit down and say, okay, my problem is that I don't have a job, but I need basic things of life. Government gives it to the person. But our society is such that it's a capitalist society. You can be rich to any level, and nobody will ask you. As far as you are paying the money to the bank, there's no means of checking this money you are bringing into the bank. How did you acquire this wealth? And there is no means of now regulating it and distributing and say, okay, this money is enough for one person. Let's now collect it and give to the poor. That is the problem of our society. If we have a means of evenly distributing wealth, we will not have all the crises, because a plethora, majority of the crisis we have in Nigeria is because of wealth, uneven distribution of wealth. Some sectors in society are extremely paid, others are underpaid, others don't have at all. That is why you now see everybody wants to be in the upper echelon of society by any means whatsoever, and there is no means of regulating it. We should develop an effective law to check this uneven distribution of wealth. When people know that, okay, even when he has gone to do rituals, maybe he has even used himself to do rituals, and that government will come and take everything from him, I think he will understand the futility in going ahead with that kind of money. But in society, when you get that kind of money, you become more powerful. You have access to better medical facilities. It's only a way of encouraging you to continue with that evil action. And I feel our laws, because of the prevalence of money rituals, ill-gotten wealth, yahoo, kidnapping, all of these are fallouts, direct fallouts of incessant desire for unjustifiable wealth, too much money. All these evils in society, we should have a way of curbing it, collecting the excess from them, giving it to those that don't have, because Nigeria is one of the countries that has the highest number of extremely poor people in this country, and we have the highest number of extremely rich people in this same country. We should develop a law to distribute this way, so that the desire to go into crime, ritual killing to make money, will be highly reduced.
Thank you very much. Sabe Siriabe.
Yes.
Now, do you think lack of education could be part of the offshoot of this problem?
Yes, when we talk about education now, we are talking about education that flows from the cradle. We are not actually talking about Western education right now, because just now this whole craze of getting rich quickly has transcend the entire spectrum of society. Even those that parade degrees are caught in the web of all of this. Most of them are ritualists. Now we are seeing these younger ones down below because we can easily get to them and get them caught. But there are ritualists at a very high level, and those who are involved are people who parade degrees. But you cannot easily get to them because they have built a castle around themselves. They have money to bribe.
So what you are saying is not about Western education.
It's not just about Western education. The lack of moral education. The parents are the first moral educator, or the first educator of children. But because of the way things have gone, parents no longer have time to even educate their children. They carry them and leave them in the hands of Western educators who have no time to even tell them the basics, or the rudiments of life.
About morals.
And morals. So that's the problem. Now, when we want to tackle this issue, you are going to discover that everybody across board are going to be affected. Just look at it. All those people go to GRO, go to federal civil servants, directors, assistant directors in Abuja, go and see their estate. Go and see their estate. What is their salary? Until we have, like he said, until we have a law that will regulate the activities of everybody in society, to a right to ask questions. How did you get this? Where do you work? What's your level? There are many people who have acquired so much wealth. They are just civil servants. There was a time in this state where even what do you call the clerk in the various revenue offices, clerks, they have 4 flats, fantastic buildings. They have receipts of their own which they printed to collect money. Government will get revenue. So if you want to really come to the basics and ask questions, the issue of corruption cuts across board. Everybody, for instance, those days, when you acquire education, when you go abroad, you come back. Nobody's talking about the many cars you brought. They're talking about your certificates. Have you brought certificates? Have you done? I remember I schooled in Rome several years ago, and I could still remember when I informed my parents that I graduated. They bought a ticket, Nigeria Airways.
Yes.
Right in Benin. I received it. That brought me back home. I said, okay, please go and enroll for your national youth service. When my father saw that I became a copper, he said, oh, kudos to you. You actually went to school. I'm very happy. You are doing your national. Nobody asked me if I brought a car or a pin.
Or how many cars you shipped down from home to Nigeria. Yes.
Nobody asked. But nowadays, you go and they say, oh, what you want to do is he said the papers we brought. Well, your mates brought this one you are talking about, this thing. My friend, go and get that from here. Or you are appointed as a commissioner and you say you want to work diligently. At the end of the day, your village will tell you what kind of commissioner this one be or minister. We don't do anything, and so on and so forth. This is how far we have degenerated in this country.
So we are talking about value system.
Value system has completely been obliterated and eroded away from our national life. So we must, all hands now must now be on deck. The curriculum, we have to re-engineer or retool the curriculum, the educational curriculum of our country, right from the cradle. I imagine a situation where, women who are what do you call it, after giving birth, they should be allowed 6 months or a year to take care of their babies.
Maternity leave is what you're talking about.
That woman will be able to catechize, to use the word catechism, to school this small child that is coming, have time for this, breastfeed the child very well. That love of mother and child will be there. Not using cowbell, artificial milk. The baby should be resting on the chest of the mother. That warmth, that love should transfer from mother, to radiate from mother to child. When that happens, no child will say because of money, I'm going to kill my mother to be able to get money, because that love is there. So we should be able to do that. In the school, there should be a slogan, a maxim. Better name, good name is better than riches. It should be there. They will teach them. Money is not everything, but good name is everything, and so on and so forth. We must teach them all those. And that our wealth, like my sister was saying, the wealth of this nation is enormous, but it's not common. We hear of common wealth. Our wealth is not common because a lot of people cornered it to themselves. And then you see what's happening, and they build castles. Somebody, are you aware that this compound you have ITV, one person owns it, and they will build small houses, all of them with 22 rooms. And after they go away, as we speak, Okotebo, Omimiejo, who died in the early 60s, they are still in court, trying to struggle with my property, the other Ojuku. The real Ojuku that owns money, all the wealth, Tinkan Island everywhere, has died long ago. The one we know, who was the son, also amassed his own wealth, they are still in court. He himself, who died now, he was still in court with his siblings and a host of others. Why? Because we are looking for wealth. What did you bring to this world that we are going to carry away? What we should be bequeathing to our children is knowledge, education. You have educated them. You don't need to give them house. Those days in Benin, our parents built mud houses. And you go there. That is where great people came out from. They give you education. You are not nowadays. Before a child is born, they have already that child is already have a mansion that is waiting for him. All we need to do is to educate our children, give them that meal ticket, and say, "Look, go and fend for yourself. You can do it." Where do you want to live? Those 12, you have a house in Abuja, you have one in Lagos, you have another one in Benin, you have another one in your village, you have one in New York and all that. Are you going to carry them away? There's a parable in Benin, I won't have money. You cannot die and carry the properties away.
Yeah, but then if you actually earn your money legitimately, there's nothing wrong in acquiring wealth.
Now, that's the point.
Yes.
But if you earn your money legitimately, I like to tell you, my sister was trying to allude to that. Whatever money God has given to you, if you are endowed enough to have this money, I want to tell our people that God gave you that money in trust for others. When you are heavily endowed in money, you must begin to learn to give a preferential option to the poor and the marginalized. You must be able to look at them in the face and address their situation. That money is not all yours. You cannot continue to just go and be building this and that. No. So there must be a regulatory system whereby you say, look, my friend, this estate you have built, what for? Where do you get it from? And government should be able to look at the money of people and say, this man has, have so much money. Please come and fund this or that project for the common good.
Maybe they can use the tax regime.
The tax regime to work for the common good.
To enhance equitable distribution of wealth. You tax the rich more than the poor.
Every evening, RTV has done very well in doing that, trying to project the needs of the poor. People come here, oh, I'm sick. I've been asked to come to India. I need just 3.something million to take care of this ailment. And then you begin to, nobody comes forward. But people can stand there, can float a party and spend 100 million on a party of one night. So we must tell our people who are rich that that money that you think you are worth for, God bless you, God has given it to you in trust for the poor and the marginalized. So use it for them. Use it for them.
Thank you, Besiri Abe. Barrister Aduwo, now this is really disturbing. Now, ritual means of acquiring wealth, does the law recognize anything like ritual means of getting wealth? If that suspect is taken to the court now, is he going to be liable? Is he going to be convicted? Do our laws recognize this?
Of course.
Okay.
Before I go into this, I want to say a little thing about this craze for money. I feel our society has been degenerated in terms of our value system, and we need to regenerate it back. Our educational system is a pivotal factor. Yeah. From the primary school, secondary school, tertiary level, we need to work on our curriculum. We should have core issues of morals. These things should now be indoctrinated into our children that good name is better than riches. There is dignity in labor. The issue of integrity, we need to now reorientate our children. Then of course our churches, mosques, and then media houses like this, we need to do a lot of awareness campaign, reorientation programs, and then our educational system has a key role in reorienting our children as they grow up to know that there is dignity in labor. That's why issues of money rituals, you will not hear it abroad, because they have a good value system that once they have enough to eat, feed, they have somewhere to sleep, they are contented. They can give out the rest to charity. And then this issue of a money ritual is a criminal offense under our criminal code. Issues of rituals, killing. Of course, anything that has to do with killing is a capital offense, punishable with death. Although a lot have agitated that they should abolish the death system, but in Nigeria we still have it, the death system. If you kill by armed robbery, is death by firing squad. Death by any other means is the person will be punished by death by hanging. It's a criminal and it's a capital offense in Nigeria. And then once anybody is caught, either attempting to even do it is a criminal offense, and it can go for as much as 14 years imprisonment. Or the person is actually caught like this young boy that had no reason. Imagine that boy should not be more than 25. At that age, his only focus in life should be how to go to school. You can see how he missed it completely in terms of value system. When such people they are caught, they will face the full wrath of the law, which is a death by hanging. our criminal law is strong enough to catch and deal with any offender that is caught. And to be honest, I want to say that our Nigerian police, they are actually trying, when they get enough information, the state CID, they are actually working very hard. It's just that the activities of these youngsters is very serious. They are happy about it, and they have different ways of covering their tracks. But even at that, I feel the legal system can do more, because our legal system is very slow too. The process of trials, appeal, it can take as long as 6 years, because we don't see the immediate effect of our judicial system. People tend to feel the legal system is slow, and then this Nigerian system of corruption, it has crept into every aspect of society, that people now believe when you have money, you can virtually buy yourself out of every situation. But we have enough legal machineries, we have enough laws on ground to deal with anybody caught in any activities relating to money rituals, to conclusively put the person behind bars, at least for a lifetime, so that he will not come out again to commit the crime.
Yeah. Okay.
I must quickly add this. You know, the people are setting very wrong examples for other people to follow.
How do you mean?
For instance, you know, in public activities like burials, ceremony, birthday parties, you see people the way they launder wealth. They throw money up in the sky. Some are using dollars now in Nigeria. If you go to some parties, they'll be throwing dollars up, and people begin to match money on the ground. Those are very wrong examples that our people are setting for others. And people will just working, oh, I wish I'm like this man. Such a person should be arrested. Such a person who comes to a public show or a public function and begin to throw dollars up and all that, and money is all over the ground, they are matching it. These are part of the things we do in our society that young folks want to emulate. Such person should be arrested. If there's a law that can do that, it would be very wonderful. Because we don't have it just now. They spent dollars. I was in a party the other day, dollars. Somebody just brought $1, do everything. So these are very wrong examples that we are setting. You know, if we begin to tell our people...
But like the law in the country is against mutilating the currency. But the Nigerian currency should not be mutilated.
Now, do you know that
recently they arrested some vendors who sell yes, they were arrested.
Money, they shed money now. Money is shaded.
But the Nigerian police arrested some suspects.
What is worrisome? You and I, if we want to go to Central Bank or any bank, I have some clean notes, I want to use it, they won't give it to you. They sell it to these outsiders. If you go to Sakumba Road now, except for what you have just said now, you will see them shading gypsy notes.
Nigerian police arrested some suspects.
That is to say that somebody is colluding with them from the financial house.
The Nigerian police also, Edo State Command, also promised that they will investigate.
Yes.
They need to know their collaborators, those who are actually doing it.
We will not begin to advise our people that we need to shun all of this. If you want to do your burial, do it low key. That's not the time to exhibit wealth. It's not the time
to throw money into
the air and begin to drive it up and down and begin to throw money away. And then the other day, it's going to be tomorrow now, they put coffee on the center of the road. They are dancing, obstructing traffic, and then they are putting money on top of the coffee and all that. What kind of nonsense is that? This is the only country where you see that. You don't see that in other climes. You don't see that in other climes. Now, what we need is a good welfare system. In Germany, for instance, everybody, whether you work in government or anything, they give you a coupon with which you can access any food vendor. They give you food to eat. They give you amount of grains, whatever you need. They give to you. You got the coupon to take care of you for the month, and they do that to every citizen every month, no matter who you are. And when you are from the age of 70, you get something from government. A kind of welfare state. We don't have it here. That's the problem we find ourselves. So if we continue to address that, or we'll come out of this quagmire. Now I must talk to my constituents, the church.
Yes.
The church. You see now in the church, the pastor begin to crisscross the eyes or the pulpit.
Yeah.
You must sow this seed. Money has become seed. You must send this money investment. Put the money now, tell the what money is going to do for you. If you put the 100,000 now, God has become a doubler. God said, give him 100,000 that I can double it tomorrow. I've never seen that all through the scripture. We are told in the scripture, I'm talking to you, my fellow pastors. The Bible said, God loves a cheerful giver, not a tearful giver. You want to do, oh, come and sow that seed now. What does seed, if you sow that seed now, you are going to see what God is going to do for you tomorrow. God does not need your money to bless you. God needs your faith. How much you love him, how much you care for the other one. The other person is Jesus to you. If you are in doubt, when you extend an olive branch to your fellow citizen or your fellow brother or sister, that is you are giving to God. God is not going to bring it to get all those money that you are asking your people to bring. They bamboozle you, they hoodwink you. You do this one now. Everyone that come and sold 100,000, it must be 1 million. And somebody gets up and say, well, let me go and do it tearfully. So I'm advising our people in the church, please, you hear what we are saying now? There are a lot of people who want to also donate. Say, oh, I wish I can donate like this other man. So let me engage in all these other activities so that I can come to church, I donate, people will clap for me. God will bless you, whether or not you give him money. And I tell people, during offering, if you don't have money, tell God, I don't have anything. Come out and say, God, I offer myself to you. But that was church. That was how church was.
You're talking about the widow's mite in the Bible?
You heard about as poor as the church rat. That axiom is not really demeaning. When you say as poor as a church rat, because the church was not out actually to make money. Whereas the man who is asking everybody to sow 1 million is adorned in a resplendent attire, brandishing his gold wristwatch and shoe that he had just bought. And then the people who brings all this money cannot even access 2 square meals, not to talk of 3. And you say, no, don't worry, bring all what you have. God is going to give you tomorrow. God does not act like that. The church we met was a church of sobriety. The church was sober. The gospel was preached to everybody. Today is the gospel of prosperity. My God is not a poor God. For God's sake, we know that. God said, if I'm hungry, I will not tell you. You are not the one to tell anybody that your God is not a poor God. God is God. He takes care of all his children. And Jesus made it unequivocally clear. He said, as long as you give, he said, when I was hungry, you did not come to give me food. I was in the prison yard. You didn't come to visit me. I was naked, you didn't clothe me. And they said, Jesus, why did we see you? When did we see you? I said, as long as you didn't do it to one of these little people of mine, you didn't do it to me.
Thank you, Pastor Rabe. I think the moral lesson is what Pastor Rabe is trying to emphasize. But we still maintain, he talked about some Nigerians who are late and the family members stay in court. What he's trying to say is that those who departed did not go with their wealth. But people have rights and they can protect their rights. If they need to seek redress in the court, they are very free to do that. And for the church, he has also said there's need for the clergy to teach members of the church that it's good to serve God and not just all about giving money, and all of that. I think that's what Pastor Rabe is trying to, the point is trying to make. Well, I said on the program, before we just quickly let it go, so we'll look at another issue. What's the way out of these anomalies?
Well, first of all, I wanted to say something.
Yes.
We should have a regulatory system that regulates what we show on media.
Okay.
Because I noticed that most of the songs we see these days, they just celebrate wealth. And these things, they have very high influence on our youth. Most of our youth, many of them, some of them drops out, those that have gone to school, they are unemployed, they listen to all these songs. It encourages them. It gives them a encouragement to go into crime, because these songs, all they do is celebrate wealth. We should have a system that regulates the kind of songs that are actually allowed to be played in public. Then apart from that,
the NBC does that.
Yes,
yeah,
they need to do more, because there is a song now that I don't just want to sing the song, but it's very prevalent. That is what is raining. And anytime I hear the song, I cry, because the song is just telling you that all you should do in life is to get money. Why should a song that is playing all over be telling that all the whole essence of your living is to get money.
So you need things to encourage even acquisition of knowledge.
Acquisition of knowledge, contributing to society.
People should go into research. Make name that this man discovered this. I think that's what you're trying to say.
We no longer talk about charity, helping people, touching lives, all those things. If we had human concept that okay, you want to touch a life, you want to make someone smile, you will not. The person's mind will not turn to the extent of not being able to kill someone else to make money. I feel this is a very endemic happening in our society that should be clamped by all means. Otherwise, it will make living in this country, it will make living very, very unhappy when people can get missing at any time because they have either kidnapped them for money rituals, they sell human parts, they do as business. These are things that are insulting to human reasoning. I feel our laws should do more in checking wealth. First of all, when people are brandishing certain kinds of cars, police should be able to stop them and investigate and say, what do you do for a living? Where are you working? Give me a means of identification.
But will they not say they are infringing on their rights?
That's what I'm saying. Our laws now, our laws should be, we need to work on our laws. We need to establish laws to meet up with the prevalent evil in our society, because we cannot continue like this. We should have a legal system that is there to check incessant acquisition, unjustifiable acquisition of, whether you say a young boy of 18 years driving a big car. We should even have laws prohibiting certain things, that at this certain age you should be in school, not driving a big car. Yeah. You should not be in a public party spending more than 200,000. We should have laws to regulate it. That is one. And I strongly believe a very key factor, a very pivotal factor in dealing with this issue, because majority of the problem in our society, the evils in our society, is caused by the desire to get extremely rich. Greed is not hunger that pushes people to go into kidnapping. It's not hunger that pushes people to become armed robbers. It's desire to become extremely rich. We should have a society whereby we do what we call even distribution of wealth, whereby at a certain level, a person is not permitted to have above a certain amount of money. The rest should be forfeited to government and should be given to the poor, should be given to those that are not unemployed. When we live like that, nobody, the politicians, nobody will tempted to embezzle money when you know that government will take it away from it. We should look into it if we have the good mind that human beings, because generally one of the laws of nature is that all human beings are actually supposed to be equal. Equality before the law. Even the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, which Nigeria has acceded to, is fundamentally placed on that principle of law. But society, nobody is equal. If I have money, I can slap him on the way. I'm not even, he will tell me thank you, man. There's the money I have to tell me thank you, man. Yes. Our value systems have changed. Until we have a way of evenly distributing this money, we cannot curb this problem. No. Then our educational system, we should go back to the bed roots. We have a way of indoctrinating people. We should go back and reorientate our children on core values, contributing to human society. Till today, we still remember Mary Slessor. She stopped the killing of twins. What are we contributing to society? We don't care about society. We don't care about human life. All we care about is money. We have to change all of this. Our religious houses must play their part. You know, it's for those that are not well enlightened now that for you come and talk. When I don't have money, I'll be trying and be giving you what I don't have. But people, because of fear, lack of enlightenment, they continue to give. But our religious houses, they're supposed to portray moral standards, integrity. They should be able to stop a young man, say, this young man, this big money you are bringing, which work are you doing? Not just bring the money, bring the money, bring the money. Until we do something to change our value system. It's affecting everybody. We don't know who is who. People are afraid by 6. Everybody is running home. You don't want robbers to catch you. It's not hunger. It's greed.
Thank you very much.
Because if it's hunger, you will walk.
Thank you, Barrister.
Thank you, sir.
You've elaborately cleared the air. And I think our viewers there have enjoyed every part of our discussion. But let's, before we just call it a day, because we're about rounding off the program, let's get the thoughts of Sabesi Rabi. Something happened recently, and this is part of the fight of the federal government against corruption. President Buhari's main trust is integrity, fighting against corruption. And a former governor of Abia State, Orji Kalu's bail has been revoked. And the reason is his own lawyers argue that is taking treatment abroad and so could not honor court sittings, and the judge was forced to revoke the bail. Now, do you think this issue of politicians, before you know it, they go abroad for treatment when they are facing trial? What do you think should be done about this issue?
It's an escape route that they have designed for themselves. It's a mere escape route. It's not as if they were really sick and all that. So it's part of what we are talking about. Now, when you assume a position of leadership, and you believe that the spoil of office, whatever belongs to you, just like back in Zuwo, they saw a large sum of money in this room, in government house. Say, Your Excellency, why is this money? Say, what do you mean? I'm the governor of this state. Government money in governor's house. So what? So what? So that is what we have found ourselves in Nigeria. So when they have done that, and they have been caught up by the web of the law, the next thing that they develop malaria or all kinds of sickness that will make them go abroad. And that is again an anomaly. I mean, very, very serious one. You are a leader. What have you done with your leadership quality? What have you done with the amount of money, the people's money that was available to you to help the people? Did you build up good hospitals? If you built a very good hospital here with people's money, will you run abroad for mere mosquito bites? So these governors are running away. They want to. It's an escape route. They are not really sick. They want to run away and go and rest somewhere and all that. And the law we have is so the law is not strong enough to hold them. In fact, I pity President Muhammad Buhari. I pity him because his job was not an enviable job to come and fight corruption in Nigeria. Corruption has incarnated. You still walking on the street. So you can corruption is a monster bigger than any president in Nigeria.
Thank you, Basira.
That's why it's very difficult to fight, because these people you are talking about, they are richer than the country.
Allegedly richer. We cannot.
You see,
we cannot substantiate that.
With yes. You know that these people, once they are arrested or arraigned before a law court, they have money to hire 10 SAN.
Of course. Of course.
They have money to hire 10 SAN who will begin to talk about technicalities and all that. And then at the end of the day, after about 4 or 10 years, you don't have any to do.
Thank you, Basira. Thank you. I think we'll have another day to elaborate on this. But let's just get the concluding part of Barrister Idowu on this issue. You saw what happened to Governor Jikalu. What do you think should be done in terms of courts and fight against corruption?
Well, first of all, the offense for which he was charged with is a bailable offense. Okay. And on that premise, he was granted bail based on certain conditions. Yeah. Unfortunately, now, he has breached the terms of his bail condition, which was to present himself in court. And the funny aspect, which I'm still not able to decipher, is the fact that he was supposed to submit his passports and his travel documents. How was he now able to leave the country? However, I like the position of the judge in revoking his bail, not expressly though, but that once he steps into the country, he should submit himself to EFCC or his bail will be revoked. I think that is actually clearly the position of the law. And then the other issues is still bordering on the hydra-headed monster of corruption, the difficulties, the challenges in curbing corruption. Someone that has been allegedly looted so much money has now quietly escaped now to Germany receiving medical treatment, and all we are doing is waiting for him to come back. But as it is, the law is what it is. He had bail, he had reasons to move freely within the permits of his bail, but he was not permitted because his name was among those 49 names that were prohibited from traveling out of the country. These are things that should be investigated. How did he now successfully leave this country, so that we don't just turn the law into a toothless bulldog, and whenever he comes back, of course, he will face the wrath of the law.
Okay, thank you very much, Barrister Idowu. The director has alerted me. That's all time we allow us on the program. I hope you've enjoyed every bit of our discussion on the program 60 Minutes Nigeria. It's a weekly current affairs program. Next week, we'll be here again to look at other issues. Thanks for being a part. Bye-bye.